the founding of the State of Israel. And so as we begin this service, heartfelt condolences to you, Elise, Gail, Carrie, your families, on the passing of your beloved father and grandfather, Poppy Stanley, age 11. May God give you strength. His immortality resides within you and all the people he has touched through his life. Profound sense of unselfishness, of looking to lift other people's up. A man who was a good neshama, a neshama that will last through eternity. We now call upon the cantor for the opening hymn, Machor, which means tomorrow. This is one of the great pieces from the Six-Day War. Machor means tomorrow. The song about hope. That we go from this place and we build upon it. Tomorrow would be even more complete. Tomorrow we'd realize more of our dreams. Tomorrow we will live more fully our lives. This has been the theme of the Jewish people through 2,000 years of exile. And on this Shabbat preceding Yom HaAtzmaut, it takes on profound meaning as we look to our better tomorrows. Cantor?
אולי נפליג עד הספינות מחוף אילת עד חוף שנחף והמשחטות הישנות יטילו תפוחי זהב כל זה אינו משל ולא חלום זה נכון כאור בצהריים כל זה יבוא מחר אם לא היום ואם לא מחר אז מחרתיים מחר כשהצבא יפשוט נדב ליבנו יעבור לדום אחר כל איש יבנה בשתי ידיו את מה שהוא חלם היום כל זה אינו מחר ולא חלום זה נכון כאור בצהריים כל זה יבוא מחר אם לא היום ואם לא מחר ואם עוד לא מחר ואם עוד לא מחר אז מחרתיים מחרתיים.
I first heard this song as I stood at the Kotel after its liberation. The theme follows one of the most profound statements in Israel. And that statement is one word, savlanut, which means patience. Yes, we dream about a better tomorrow, and tomorrows do come through. But if it's not tomorrow, it'll be the day after. But it will come if we maintain faith in ourselves, in our God, in our tradition, and in our legacy as Am Yisrael, the people and the nation of Israel. Cantor, will you lead the ladies in the bracha of the candles of Shabbat? Amen. Amen. Israel, which is the only democracy in the Middle East, upon becoming a state, everyone please mute your phones, issued a Declaration of Independence, which reflects the dreams, the realities, that is the Jewish state and the Jewish people down through the millennia. Now the students from our high school will share with us the words found in Israel's Declaration of Independence. Our first three readers will be Bennett Franklin, Anthony Macaveyev, and Jacob Igielski. Unmute your phone, go ahead.
The land of Israel was the birthplace of the Jewish people. Here their spiritual, religious, and political identity was shaped. Here they first attained to statehood, created cultural values of national and universal significance, and gave to the world of the eternal book of books. After being forcibly exiled from their land, the people kept faith with it throughout their dispersion, and never ceased to pray and hope for their return to it and the restoration of their political freedom.
Compelled by this historic and traditional attachment, Jews strove in every successive generation to reestablish themselves in their ancient homeland. In recent decades, they returned in their masses. Pioneers, defiant returnees, and defenders, they made deserts bloom, revived the Hebrew language, built villages and towns, and created a thriving community controlling its own economy and culture, loving peace, and knowing how to defend itself, bringing the blessings of progress to all the country's inhabitants, and aspiring towards independent nationhood.
In the year 5657, at the summons of the spiritual father of the Jewish state, Theodor Herzl, the first Zionist Congress convened and proclaimed the right of the Jewish people to national rebirth in its own country. This right was recognized in the Balfour Declaration of the 2nd November 1917, reaffirmed in the mandate of the League of Nations, which, in particular, gave international sanction to the historic connection between the Jewish people and the Eretz Israel, and to the right of the Jewish people to rebuild its national home.
Lily? We'll go on to Annabelle.
Go ahead, Lily.
The catastrophe which recently befell the Jewish people, the massacre of millions of Jews in Europe, was another clear demonstration of the urgency of solving the problem of its homelessness by reestablishing in Eretz Israel the Jewish state, which would open the gates of the homeland wide to every Jew and confer upon the Jewish people the status of a fully privileged member of the community of nations. Survivors of the Nazi Holocaust in Europe, as well as Jews from other parts of the world, continued to migrate to Eretz Israel, undaunted by difficulties, restrictions, and dangers, and never ceased to assert their right to a life of dignity, freedom, and honest toil in their national homeland.
Next readers will be Annabelle Portnoy, Joseph Kogan, and Sharon Maldonado. Annabelle?
In the Second World War, the Jewish community of our country contributed its full share to the struggles of the freedom and peace-loving nations against the forced Nazi wickedness, and by the blood of its soldiers and its war effort gained the right to be reckoned among peoples who founded the United Nations.
Joseph?
I'm getting nervous. On the 29th November 1947, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution calling for the establishment of a Jewish state in Eretz Israel. The General Assembly required the inhabitants of Eretz Israel to take such steps as were necessary on their part for the implementation of that resolution. This recognition by the United Nations of the right of the Jewish people to establish their state is irrevocable. This right is the natural right of the Jewish people to be masters of their own fate, like all other nations in their sovereign state.
Accordingly, we, members of the People's Council, representatives of the Jewish community of Eretz Israel and the Zionist movement, are here assembled on the day of the termination of the British mandate over Eretz Israel, and by virtue of our natural and historic right, and on the strength of the resolution of the United Nations General Assembly, hereby declare the establishment of the Jewish state in Eretz Israel to be known as the State of Israel.
Very good. Our last three readers are Jacob Kogan, Philbert Vorstein, and Matthew Gershik. Jacob?
We declare that with effect from the moment of the termination of the mandate being tonight, the Eye of Sabbath, the sixth lyre, 5708, until the establishment of the elected regular authorities of the state in accordance with the Constitution, which shall be adopted by the elected Constituent Assembly not later than the 1st October 1948. The People's Council shall act as the Provisional Council of State and its executive organ. The People's Administration shall be the provisional government of the Jewish state to be called Israel.
Very good.
The state of Israel will be open for Jewish immigration and for the ingathering of exiles. It will foster the development of the country for the benefit of all of its inhabitants. It will be based on freedom, justice, and peace as envisaged by the prophets of Israel. It will ensure complete equality of social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, or sex. It will guarantee freedom of religion, conscience, language, education, and culture. It will safeguard the holy places of all religions, and it will be faithful to the principles of the Charter and the United Nations.
Thank you. Matthew?
The State of Israel is prepared to cooperate with the agencies and representatives of the United Nations in implementing the resolution of the General Assembly of the 29th November 1947, and will take steps to bring about the economic union of the whole Eretz Israel. We appeal to the United Nations to assist the Jewish people in the building up of its states, and to receive the State of Israel into the community of nations.
Thank you. Thank you all. You're wonderful. Now I'm asking the person who's putting those wonderful pictures, I especially like the Corvette, stop right now, please. This is a serious service, and we're not advertising anything, especially if the temple's not getting any money from it. So please, I don't know who it is, but get these icons of our society off the screen right now, please. Okay. Now, freedom. Galena, maybe you could get rid of the screen. Kanta?
Yes, I am.
Get rid of that screen.
Rabbi,
Permanently. Permanently.
that may just be how their
I
name
understand.
comes up. Yeah.
I understand. There's no place for it here. The freedom that the Jews realized after 2,000 years of exile, of being homeless, came with a profound cost. Between the years 1948, when the state was founded, until 1997, nearly 21,000 Israelis were killed in its wars for independence and survival. There were 100,000 disabled veterans. Add to that another 10,000 Israelis who were killed through terrorist acts. And that's the 1997, 23 years ago. But the reality is we must look at the state of Israel not through a legacy and history of war, but rather what it is and has become. Israel mandate was to be a light unto the nations of the world, and that it has become. In Haiti and in Albania, in places where profound disasters have occurred around the globe, Israel was the first to send in help. Israel is the startup nation. Israel is the fashion nation. Israel is the country, the only country in the Middle East where, regardless of one's orientation, they are accepted. Those of you who are old enough to remember President Clinton, how many of you remember President Clinton? President Clinton came up with a position in terms of gays in the military, which was don't ask, don't tell, which was an old Yiddish concept. As mefrektes treif. If you ask if it's kosher, the answer is no, it's not kosher, it's treif. So don't ask. But for its very exception, Israel accepted gays as equals, women as equals. One of the greatest leaders in the world leader, was a woman by the name of, anyone know? Golda Meir. Golda Meir. And so on this 72nd anniversary, let us take pride that we are the generations of the past 2,000 years that have seen the greatest miracle to occur, a modern state rising from the ashes of man's greatest act of inhumanity to man, a modern state, which is the envy, which is a jewel, which is a diamond in the crown of the world of nations. Yes, as there are no perfect people, there are no perfect nations. But Israel strives to be what it was always tend to be, a model, be there to help, to gather the Jewish people, to fight for our rights and the rights of all individuals. We now turn to the call to worship as we rise together for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBarach. Praise the one to whom our praise is due. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due, now and forever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Rabbi, mute yourself, please.
Okay. I heard enough of myself. Now we continue with the V'ahavta in the Hebrew. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol miyodecha. V'yu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha lechtecha b'derech shachbecha v'kumecha. V'shartam liot ayadecha v'yu l'totafot beinenecha. Uktavtam amuzot beitecha v'sharecha. L'man tiskaru v'asitem et kol mitzotai. V'tem kedoshim lahechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Kenta, will you lead us in the singing of the Micha Mocha, please?
Vaylim Adonai, Yikamocha, Edar HaKodesh, Norat Ilot, Osef Eleh, Adonai Imloch, Leolam Vaed. Unmute yourself, please.
Someone's muting me, I'm telling you. Just as we keep the Sabbath, so does God keep us. Can't there with the choir of the Vishamar, please?
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Let us now turn to the Avot as the cantor leads us and we rise together.
Adonai sefatek tiftach ufi yagid tfilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, let my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Sarah האל הגדול זוכר חזה אבוכים תקר ללב לבניהם למען חוזה מגן אברהם ויצחק שרה.
Amen. Please be seated. In a moment, we will offer the Shalom Rav, which means bring a great peace. These weeks, now more than ever, we realize that peace does not simply mean a state of welfare, of acceptance, an absence of war between nations, but being at peace within ourselves and with nature. These weeks in self-imposed confinement for our own welfare and the welfare of our neighbors and our nation has taught us a lot about ourselves, what we feel about ourselves, how to live with ourselves and those of us who are fortunate enough to have family members with us, how to live with them and to cherish them as well. This has not only been a tragic time, a time of imposition, especially for we Americans who value our freedom above all else, but if used well, a time of reflection, of growth, of spiritual connection, of growing together as a temple family. So now lead us in the singing, which is more than singing, but a prayer for that great peace to come.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Leolam.
וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Tasim Leolam.
Now let us take a moment of silent reflection to offer the prayers not only of our lips but of our hearts, not to be afraid to go within and pray for what we really want, what we really need. Let us pray. Cantor, Yosef Shalom.
עושה שלום הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Rabbi, unmute yourself. Okay.
I just unmuted myself. And please, whoever's doing it, not nice. Though we are muted to allow the singing of the cantor and Elaine and Carol and others and the Shapiros, so it comes across because this is an imperfect tool. I still want you to sing even though you're muted. We could feel each other's ruach, each other's spirit. So now we are going to continue with the Kiddush to pour over our Shabbat wine. So please rise. Amen. L'chaim. You know, oftentimes we go into a supermarket, or we have gone to a supermarket, there's so much to buy, we are in a quandary as to what to take, what to leave. The realities of these weeks have shown us not to take the offerings, the food we need, for granted. And also it's an imperative that we do something to help those who are without food, through no fault of their own. Whoever thought in America people would go hungry the way people are going hungry today? And so we give thanks for the bread we have, the Shabbat meal we have or will share, and we pledge to help those who are without. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Please be seated. I'd say one of the most iconic songs in Judaism. And it's more than a song. It's a plea, a statement of who we are, is Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Jerusalem of gold. Jerusalem has always been the envy of the world. They envied it because what they thought was its power as the center of the Abrahamic faiths. But Jerusalem is more than that. It is a dream. It is a model. It is a statement of the world, what we can be. It is more precious than gold. You know, for many, many years, we've talked about how Israel needs our support of American Jewry, world Jewry. The realities of this past year have shown us how world Jewry, European Jewry, American Jewry, all Jews who live where this horrible virus has taken root, needs Jerusalem, needs Israel. It is more than gold to us. It is our inheritance. Jerusalem is our hope. Jerusalem is our city. And God willing, this coming year, I will lead a mission of our Temple Israel family to Jerusalem and lay claim and be embraced by all citizens and all our brothers and sisters in Israel. Cantor.
That stand in silence upon the hills of time, to hear the voices of the city as bells of evening chime, the shofar sounding from the temple to call the world to pray. The shepherd pauses in the valley, and peace is everywhere. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, forever young, yet forever old, my heart will sing your songs of glory. Jerusalem, Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel נחושת ושל אור, עלו לכל שירי אני כינור.
We rise for our Mishaberach prayer, a prayer for those who are ill in need of God's help and intervention. Mishaberach Hosea Yaakov, our Heavenly Father, we beseech you to grant for us Shalemar Rafut HaNefesh Rafut HaGuf, healing of body, of spirit, of soul. To Abe Quake, Ray Berman, B. Franklin, David Rubin, manager of Boulevard and the SCI Jewish chapels on Long Island, who are suffering. Bruce Bergman, Beverly Pincus, Dr. Lawrence Spear of Winthrop Hospital and his wife, Jenna Land, Rob Land, Maureen Martin, those afflicted by the COVID virus. Who else do you remember in our prayers for healing this Shabbat?
Walter Halperin.
Ben Reed and Beverly Ross.
We pray that God heal the broken hearts of those who lost family members to this virus and all others who need his help. For them, we now pray. Cantor?
Bernard Biden.
אותנו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make us a blessing, and let us say Amen. ישרח אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
On that day, the Lord shall be one, and his name shall be one. Please be seated.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
And this Shabbat, remember the Ortzites of Edmund Baum, Michael Brand Sefort, Helen Guaz, John Guaz, Joanne Harrison, Elaine Katz, Frida Margolovsky, Murray Silver, Ike Solomon, Donald Tick, Sheila Tick. Those who passed away in recent days: Marvin Lanter, Betty Ann Kahn, Gedalia Horowitz, Bert Canterman, Maya Greenberg, Alice Fiden, Alex Sanchez, Eleanor Lanter, Peter Calbo, Stanley Howard Levin, Pauline Giordano. And beginning this Shabbat, we are instituting a tradition that's been part of our people for over 2,000 years. The morning period is divided into 3 sections. The Shiva, the 7 days. The 30 days as we begin to get acclimated again to enter into the world of the living. And the 11 months following the passing. When we say the Kaddish, we turn inward, we turn to God to heal us. We remember our departed. We mention them in our prayers. Why 11 months? Jewish tradition tells us that the soul waits to get into Gan Eden, into paradise, for a period of 12 months, and that the family member saying the Kaddish helps the soul get in. We are our beloved's advocates, but not to embarrass the soul. We say Kaddish for 11 months, for a blood relative, not for 12 months. Many of you may be aware that it's said that one has the unveiling after 12 months. It's not after 12 months. It's after 11 months, and that's a tradition as the unveiling is. And in Israel, the unveiling occurs within 30 days after the passing. And so, to provide this spiritual solace, this connection between us and God and the eternal, this Shabbat, we institute this tradition within our congregation, filled with tradition, of saying the Kaddish for an 11-month period for those who wish. And so we remember Wayne Price. Is there anyone else you'd like their names to be mentioned at this time preceding the Kaddish? Anyone else? And those who passed,
Stanley Coppola.
and those who passed away, COVID virus. Anyone else?
Anatoly Makoviev.
Anyone else?
Henry
Okay. Guys, as we say the Kaddish, remember them and all who have passed from this life into life everlasting together. Unmute your phones, please, when you say the Kaddish. Yiskadal
Yiskadal Shmei Rabbah.
Yom
Israel, Amen. Rabba Makora, Hayolam, Aleo,
name is Mother of Peace, and peace to all who mourn, comfort all the bereaved among us. Traditionally, at the conclusion of the Kaddish, we take 2 steps back and 1 step forward. There's a therapeutic reason for this. We mourn the loss of a beloved. We think we're making progress, but oftentimes we take 2 steps forward. But those steps forward to healing and the acceptance that immortality is, that does come. Father of peace, send peace to all who mourn. Comfort all those among us. Amen. As is fitting, before we do so, the benediction, I want to thank the cantor and Matthew for a beautiful service. Our closing hymn this evening will be the Hatikvah, which is not only the national anthem of the state of Israel, but the Jewish people. Hatikvah means hope. We are a people who dare to hope against all hope. Make our hope and our dreams come true. Together, let's sing the Hatikvah. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord up his face upon us and be gracious unto us. Yisanai Panavelecha B'Semcha Shalom. Lift up his face upon us. Give us courage to hope. Hope for better days, myself, the family members, all we love, our nation and the world. Hope for peace. Amen.
Amen.
Shabbos and thank you.
Good Shabbos,
Shabbos.
everyone.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
Great job.
Good Shabbos.
Great job,
Good
kids.
Shabbos.
Hi,
Good
Annabelle.
job. Great job.
Good Shabbos.
Good job.
Hi, girls.
Good Shabbos weekend.
Jared, you too.
Saw Mary and Ed.
Shabbos, Chelsea, Jared, good Shabbos.
Good job.
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Yes.
Shabbos. Kenny. Good Shabbos. Morgan.
Good Shabbos, Gavin.
Shabbos.
Bye.
Oh, hi,
Good Shabbos, Maldonados. Sarah, thank.
What?
Fellow choir mates, you did a great job.
Yes,
Fabulous. Fabulous.
everybody did a great job.
Thank you, Demi.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Good
Shabbos. Stay
Shabbos.
safe
God
out there.
bless. Stay safe.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Galina.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you,
Thank
Claire.
you.
Good Faye.
Good job.
Thank you, Cancer. Thank you,
Shabbos,
Rabbi.
Doug.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you,
Good
Ken.
Shabbos,
Fire.
Robin, if you're still on.
I am.
Good Shabbos to you.
Jared, how you doing, buddy? Jared, Chelsea, how are you guys?
Good.
I missed you guys. I hope that you guys are doing okay. All this time, so sorry for your loss.
Shabbos, Mary.
Okay, Chelsea? I wish I could give you a hug. I'm giving you a hug through the computer, okay, sweetie? Okay. Mwah. Okay, I'm happy you guys are here. We're thinking about you. And your mom, give your mom a hug for us, okay? Go give her a big hug. Chelsea, I want to
I
see it.
love you guys. I love you.
Aw. Okay, bye guys.
Are we having a party?
Yeah, I saw see Galina. Have a good
Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Bye. Good Shabbos, Amir.
Okay, I'll say.
Good Shabbos. Bye, Fred.
Bye, Rabbi.